All right. Totally stole that from Matthew McConaughey. We are back. Welcome. Once again, this is Ball Knowers alongside Luke Dolan.
How's everyone doing?
I am Cameron Woolley. So, shockingly today, we've got a lot of baseball to talk about.
Yep, a lot.
Although, when the football teams are this... bleh,
Anything's more interesting.
I mean, hockey, the Rangers have been killing it. Like, the Rangers just don't lose, which I hate. You love, obviously, but I hate that the Rangers are.
It's the way they have an 8-game point streak right now. Now they're gonna have to figure out how to keep it up with Adam Fox out of the lineup for basically the rest of the month.
They have been.
They lost in a shootout.
The good news to them is that the Devils are without Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier for
the first matchup between Devils and Rangers is not going to feature Fox or Hughes.
Hischier might be back for it, but it won't have Jack Hughes or Adam Fox. And honestly, the Rangers are better structurally than the Devils. You guys are going to obliterate us this year. Like, if we play in the playoffs, the Rangers are going to beat the Devils in 5 games. Like, this Devils team. No, I'll sound off on them now so I can get it out of the way. Last night, the Devils played the Colorado Avalanche in Colorado. Not an easy place to play. But for the Devils, these are the places you have to win games.
Mm-hmm.
When the standard's as high as it is, when we were talked up all offseason about being a cup contender and being the top team in the East going forward, that's a situation where without arguably your two best players, you got to go in there and you got to win. And
it's tough.
They kept it tied. Like, after the second, but then they got blown out in the third. And it wasn't the fact that they lost. You lose a lot in hockey.
You're going to lose a lot.
Even the best teams lose 20, 30 times a year.
Maybe like even 15 times. You're going to lose a bunch of games.
You're going to lose a lot of games. Even in the playoffs, you're going to lose games. Every team loses. Even the best of the best. Gretzky lost.
A lot.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Gretzky did. He didn't win the cup every year, but it was the way the Devils lost. The structure of everything has just completely crumbled. I'm watching, like, the defense. The defense has been making passes in the defensive zone that are mind-blowing. The structure isn't there. The defense is non-existent. That's what happens when you play Brendan Smith every single game. Like, he's a reliable third-pairing defenseman, and you're pairing him with a rookie who isn't exactly advertised as an elite defender.
Luke Hughes?
Yeah, Luke Hughes.
Oh, my God.
They're playing Brendan Smith with Luke Hughes.
That's not a good...
Thank God Luke Hughes is playing on the power play, or else everyone would think he's a bust right now.
I can't believe he was able to return to the game last night after taking that hit from Ross Colton.
And another thing about the Devils, every single time someone plays them, they have free reign to just run at their stars. Jack Hughes was taken out a couple of times in his career. Jack Hughes has been run at. Nico Hischier every single night is getting cross-checked by somebody or getting face washed or something just egregious. And the Devils either don't respond, and whenever they do, it's so obvious and flagrant that they end up going to the box and they end up getting scored on the penalty kill.
That's how I felt about the Rangers for many years. Nobody
I'm not saying go out and get a goon, but maybe get somebody who knows how to police things a little better and maybe commands more respect.
You could.
I want the Devils to get I want them to get Corey Perry. I want them to get Corey Perry because he is well respected enough by the guys who run at Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier every single night that maybe it's like, okay, I don't want to mess with them because I mess with Corey Perry.
It could
a guy who has enough respect around the league that the officials won't call much on him. Anything about Corey Perry has gotten away with a lot of stuff.
It could be worse. You could be the Maple Leafs right now.
Oh, yeah.
Who have all their toughness and they're not tough at all.
Signing Ryan Reeves moment.
Did you see like what happened with like him with the Bruins game?
What happened with the Bruins?
Oh, where was McCauley like missed a blatant penalty, but also Ryan Reeves couldn't couldn't get after Marshawn because they couldn't get the right matchups out there because the Bruins were the home team, so they had the last change. They couldn't get up.
Obviously, they're going to keep Brad Marchand as far away from.
Oh, and also
humanly possible. That's the one thing Ryan Reeves does.
And
is take another team's jerk player and just punch him in the face.
And Tyler Bertuzzi was joking with Marchand when he was sitting by the Leafs bench, which gave a lot of people the wrong impression, and I would be mad too.
Tyler Bertuzzi was brought in as
as a pest who could provide some offensive upside. He's not doing that for them.
Every team
and Max Domi, I gotta say, okay, Max Domi lives on the reputation of his name and name only. He's not a good player.
He's not Ty
Domi. He's thankful that his father was Ty Domi.
Oh yeah, Max Domi's a good player, but he's not.
He's not good anymore. He's not a good player anymore.
He's solid. You can put him in the middle six, and they'll do a fine job for you.
So he has like 2 points, I think, this year right now for the Leafs. He's playing with Tavares.
But again, it's the Leafs. The Leafs is the Leafs, you know.
Yeah.
It was
anyway,
like with the Devils, I just want to finish grinding my first axe of the day. Yeah, we're going to be doing.
Oh yeah, we got a lot.
There's a lot of axe grinding that we're going to be doing today.
We are mad,
but
for different reasons.
We're mad for different reasons. You're mad for a reason I don't really like, and we'll get to that in a minute. But like the Devils this year, I see them being a playoff team. But as of right now, they are literally the 2019 team in terms of defensive structure and breakdowns and not being able to play a clean game. But it's covered up by their absurdly high-end forwards. Like the Devils might have the best overall forward group in the league. Up front, like their power play is scoring at like 44%. They're the 2019 team with generationally good forwards and a generationally good power play. Like in terms of depth, their top six is unstoppable.
Oh yeah.
Like the Devils have an unstoppable top. Literally, dude, Jesper Bratt, Nico Hischier,
Timo Meier, Tyler Toffoli.
No, Jesper Bratt. No, the first line is Jesper Bratt, Nico Hischier. I think it's our
when they're healthy. When they're healthy.
It's either Andre Palat. I'm forgetting someone. Yeah, Andre Palat. And their second line is Timo Meier, Jack Hughes, and Tyler Toffoli.
Yeah, that's
who has literally not stopped scoring since he got traded here, by the way. Like Tyler Toffoli has been.
Yeah, that man keeps scoring. He keeps scoring.
Any team this offseason, all he does is score goals.
Yeah, he was a really good guy for the Devils for like a rental right now.
As of right now, he's a rental, but I want them to keep him. With how much? Dude, he's going to score 40. He's going to score 40 goals this year.
At this rate,
especially alongside Jack Hughes.
Well,
again, like I'm talking about these things with the Devils. I'm not to mention Dougie Hamilton.
He's
like anytime you want to talk about why the Devils have a good power play, you have that just cannon at the blue line.
I mean, I don't respect people who insist they call themselves Dougie, but he's a good player.
I don't care what he calls himself. I don't care.
He is a good player. A really good player.
I'd rather him be called Dougie than Douglas. Or Doug. He doesn't look like a guy who calls himself Doug or Douglas. He's Doug. He got a bad name.
He did get a bad name.
Really bad name. And Dougie Hamilton rolls off the tongue pretty well, especially for a hockey player. He passes the name test. And not to mention,
but he's a grown man.
Already one of the best power play quarterbacks in the league. So, like when I look at that high end talent, it makes me mad that the Devils are playing like this. If it was just a couple years ago, I'd be like, fine. But after what I saw last year, the way that this team inhaled the league at times, like seamlessly, just went on runs where they would just flick teams. And okay, we're going to beat by 3 goals, 4 goals, 5 goals, like just blowouts, outclassings of good teams.
What do you say the issue is, though, then?
Defense and carelessness. Like this, they're careless when it comes to like their puck play. They're making errant passes. they're being sloppy in their own zone. And when they do have possession, they have trouble keeping it. Now, granted, the Devils are a team that is built on the counterattack.
Yep.
Their offense is built on the rush.
And catching people asleep.
Like, I understand that they are not a possession team. They are not a team that is going to kill you with their forecheck. They are not the Hurricanes. They're a different team. And when they're rolling, it's amazing because literally anytime they have possession, they're skating the other way, and not every single one of the opposing defenders is back there and ready and facing them. There's a real chance that they score. But I feel like teams are kind of adjusting a little bit to that. Teams are sort of prepared
to counter their speed
to play the Devils. And that strategy, as messed up as it sounds, is taking runs at the players who threaten the way that I just mentioned.
The thing about that though is
I was like, okay, Jack uses an issue. Okay, how about we hit him a bunch of times? I don't slam him into the boards until his shoulder falls out.
The tragic, I don't even think he was taught. I think he just lost an edge on one of his injury.
That is literally my only problem with Jack Hughes' game. He loses an edge way too much, and it leads to him getting hurt.
Yeah.
Although a couple times he's been hurt, like Jeremy Lauzon boarded him. In 2021.
Jeremy Lauzon, man.
And he was gone for 2 months. Oliver Wahlstrom, clipped him in the knee. A knee-to-knee hit should have been called. To PK Subban's credit, he beat him up afterward because, there is no bigger Jack Hughes fanboy in the world than PK Subban. It's so fun.
PK Subban.
Subban. Oh yeah, you hate PK Subban.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just the Devils still have a winning record. They're still third in the Metro.
They have a winning record, but they're going to make the playoffs. I think they have enough high-end talent to carry them through the regular season, so they can win games against the Flyers, the
Pens,
the Sharks, the bad teams,
well, I mean,
the mid-tier teams. But the moment the Devils make the playoffs, I don't see them making it out of the first round because they're probably going to get third in the division. They're either going to play Carolina, who owns them, or the Rangers, who literally don't lose. So I don't.
Adjustments need to be made, to say the least, and they need to they're going to be asked to step up a lot more with both Hughes and Hischier out.
Yeah, a big talking point about this team was the depth they had up front. I haven't seen a lot of it. Although they did score 3 goals last night, but 2 of them was because they had a 7-minute power play that they allowed a shorty on.
Who scored a shorthanded goal?
Miles Wood.
Oh, that's how he. Oh, okay, I heard he scored.
Which it was a lock that he was scoring in that game.
Oh yeah.
No, when the Devils play the Sharks, Mackenzie Blackwood is getting a 45 save shutout. Because that's how it works with the Devils. That's how it works with all my teams. They can't have anything not haunt them.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Zuccarello, I think, has scored a goal in every single game the Rangers and Wild have played against each other since he signed with the Wild.
To be fair, Matt Zuccarello is a really good player. You can still look at Matt Zuccarello and be like, okay, fine.
Yeah, I know. Matt Zuccarello is still a really good player. He's always been a great player. He's always been a great.
No, I remember on those Rangers teams. I didn't start hating the Rangers until the Jack Hughes and Kapokako.
Matt Zuccarello was the heart and soul of the Rangers 2010s teams. He was the heart and soul.
Hank.
Well, okay, yeah. Hank was the best player.
Without Hank, that team is nothing.
Oh yeah, I was just saying. Well, Zuccarello, in terms of the skaters group, he was like a heart and soul player of the team.
Yeah, among the forwards.
But yeah, but now. Talking about the Rangers a bit, they've gotten 2 games without Adam Fox, and they've gotten 3 or 4 points. Though
Adam Fox, that's huge.
Without Adam Fox, though they're going to do it at least 8 more times, at the very least. And it's just 8 games of you don't think it's a long time. But it becomes a very long time very quickly.
That's 10% of your season.
I know. but it doesn't feel that way. It seems like a small number though, too. The single digits, but then you realize in the grand scheme of things, it is like quite literally, as you said, 10% of your season, which is a lot. But I've noticed some few things in the 2 games that they played. They've gone out the strong leads very quickly or halfway through, but then they just start falling asleep at the wheel now.
The Devils have been doing that too.
Though to be fair, Jonathan Quick has started both games because Igor's also injured
Wow, dude! No Adam Fox, no Igor.
for 2 games. Yeah, and Heedle's on IR as well. So
Beatles
they've been
huge.
I mean,
You can live without Philip Heedle.
I mean,
It's
yeah.
not like the Devils with Jack Hughes.
I mean, yeah, but like the center depth is like being really tested though too.
Oh, your center depth is being
Being
tested.
pretty
Your
tested.
team's center depth is being tested right now. We have Michael McLeod as our number 1 center right now. But the 2 is credit. He's been doing a fine job.
Yeah, and they put Blake Wheeler on the first line last game. I think more so because they want to see if they can get him going because he's quite literally playing for his Rangers career right now. Blake Wheeler. And I still thought they played a good game, but they were up 5-0 against Detroit. And then they let in like 2 goals in like 20 seconds in the third period. And then Andrew Kopp scores on an out-man rush with like 6.5 minutes left. I'm like, I got really scared that they were going to blow it.
Oh no! Whenever
our former Ranger, Andrew Kopp.
Like whenever the Devils have a big lead and our team scores twice in like a couple minutes,
I start sweating.
I'm like, oh no!
I
think a lot of that is because of like the internet. Because if your team blows a lead, everyone's gonna see it.
Oh yeah.
Gonna laugh at you.
Yep. I mean, look at the Lightning the other night. They had a 4-1 lead against the Leafs, and they lost.
They lost that game. Oh yeah.
In overtime. But yeah, I've just, I would be great if the Rangers can keep afloat without Adam Fox. That's good. I just hope that this trend that they're having where they're just falling asleep at the wheel when they're getting a sizable lead to start, or this doesn't continue because they had a 3-0 lead 10 minutes into the Minnesota game, the first Minnesota game, and then they lost in a shootout. And where a game after they got the 3-0 lead, they got utterly dominated like the entire game. So hopefully that doesn't continue. Hopefully I hope the winning continues, but I hope the part of where they let teams back in the games doesn't continue.
The disturbing trend.
The disturbing trends. But anyways, we have more access to grind.
Oh, welcome to the main event, folks.
Welcome to the main event. Unless we want to talk about how the Giants season's now basically over.
That's irrelevant.
It is irrelevant.
But nobody cares. Everybody knows.
It's over. It's
Everybody
over.
knows. Like, well, what can we say? I'm not one who likes beating dead horses on my shows. I don't like making redundant talking points that much.
Yeah, but now Jones is out with an ACL injury. The season wasn't over before. It is now. It is definitely over now.
Quarterback, the season's over. Daniel Jones is terrible now.
I know, but I'm just saying now that he's injured, and now we're gonna have to rely on Tommy DeVito for the foreseeable future.
Oh yeah,
that's not a good recipe, and I think we're gonna get beaten up by Dallas. It's gonna be a beatdown in Dallas.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
We'll almost beat the Eagles.
I don't care, dude.
We want
the best thing that the Giants can do is lose out.
They might do. They might. I don't think they win another game this year. I really do not think they win another game this year. I legit think they're not going to win another game.
Yeah. But it's the best. It's for the best.
They're getting a good start. They're getting a good starting point with having to start Tommy DeVito. That's a great way to start losing games.
Dude,
as much as Tommy DeVito is like kind of being admirable with what he's having to do. He's just that. He's not. He's admirable. It's an admirable effort. But he's not good enough. He's a third string quarterback for a reason.
He can't throw the football.
I mean that throw to Wandale. That touchdown pass to Rondo was a pretty good throw.
He was wide open.
But you got to make those open passes. But anyways, Giants are done. The Jets are awful.
The Giants are dead. The Jets are the Jets, even though they're technically 500.
The
Jets, they're the Jets, dude.
Yeah. And it's just when they face a team that has like objectively, I know the Chargers were 3-4 going into that game, but they have objectively a better roster, offensively at least. The Jets lose not just lose. They get basically there's no chance for them to win when they face an objectively better team than them.
Oh yeah.
But that's about that. We got to talk about baseball because, oh my god, what a news week!
Brian Cashman lit off a PR bomb.
I couldn't believe how many F-bombs he dropped in his press conference and interviews.
Words. He said a lot of words that we can't exactly say over these airwaves over here.
I know.
But
that does not.
Oh man.
I don't know.
I have heard a lot of bad pressers from my team's coaches, owners, and GMs. I have sat through a lot. I have heard some things that my ears are still trying to recover from. But that press conference by Brian Cashman might have been the most arrogant and most just distasteful.
What do you mean?
And smug presser. Although it wasn't really a presser.
I mean, Brian Cashman
was getting mobbed.
Brian Cashman still has won a bunch of World Series that he's put together. Teams.
Oh my god, dude.
I think he has the right to be arrogant.
How about after flat screen TVs were invented? How about after Modern Warfare 2 came out?
They have not had a losing season since 1992.
But the Yankees have bigger standards than that. They have had opportunities to win World Series. They have made awful, awful, awful moves. Josh Donaldson and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa over signing a guy like Corey Seager. That's really worked out, right? I should be grateful for that.
I mean, we put
on what planet should I be grateful for this? Brian Cashman, and on top of other things, he goes out, he defends his operation. The Yankees had their worst season in 30 years. He goes out and says, "Oh, we still have a great operation. We have no problems."
I mean,
he absolves himself of every single move, every single thing. He outsources the problem to someone else, or he never holds anybody accountable, and that's maybe because of his boss.
Oh, he had a press conference today too. Yesterday, sorry.
His press conference, I kind of liked it a little better because he at least said that he was mad, but his actions don't say anything.
But
because he's keeping everybody there. Brian Cashman is still there. Randy Levine is still there. Michael Fishman is still there. And speaking of Michael Fishman, Brian Cashman said what could be maybe the worst thing he could have ever said in that presser, maybe the worst piece of news any Yankee fan could get. Now, the WFAN types, they're probably happy they heard this. This is probably good news to them. But Brian Cashman said, he thinks a bunch of the criticism is coming from them being too analytical. Meanwhile, they're not analytical enough. And it was confirmed by Brian Cashman saying they have the smallest analytics department in the AL East. That's not a good thing. Having the smallest analytics department in the AL East is an awful thing. He openly admitted that they were backwards.
I mean,
he openly admitted that they are rejecting data and analytics in a sport that has become increasingly more quantifiable, and he's bragging about it. He's bragging about being a caveman.
I mean, they finished above 500 still.
Shut up. But he's bragging. He's bragging about being behind the 8 ball.
I mean, I used data and analytics right there to prove that they're over 500.
Oh my God, dude. Go to a FanGraphs page. Oh my God. Dude. And then defend fans. You got fans like you who say that, "Oh, I should be grateful. I'm spoiled." Dude, you don't. It's like being a Leafs fan. It's like being a fan of the Leafs the last few years.
The Leafs have not won anything since the 70s.
1967, 2009, same thing. They both still haven't won since Mario Galaxy 2 came out.
And those aren't quite the same things.
Okay, yeah, not quite the same thing. I don't remember any time the Leafs or the Yankees won a championship. So as far as I'm concerned, the Yankees and the Leafs are the same thing. No, the Habs. The Habs.
Okay, yeah, the Habs is much more
Yeah, the
accurate.
Habs. Yeah, the Habs are a better comparison.
But even then, they still haven't won in 30 years.
Yeah, because of the same problems that the Yankees have. They're being arrogant. They're being set in their ways. They're openly bragging about being backwards. And it's... Oh, my God, dude. I still can't wrap my head around the analytics department comment. I can't. I just can't. And the application of data and analytics, I thought that was one of the good things that the Yankees were doing. I thought, I'm like, okay, the Yankees are looking at expected batting average and exit velocity and launch angle and looking at those things. They shouldn't be the only factor, but I think they should be a factor. And I know it's just the pressure. You might have done that to just get the Salicatas off his back, but openly admitting and bragging about having a tiny analytics department, the smallest in your division, that has run over you. You know, in that you have the smallest analytics division, you also have the smallest winning percentage in that division. Boston runs you. Toronto runs you. Tampa runs you. Baltimore runs you. And, you know, according to that comment, the one thing that they all have in common, they have larger analytics departments and they have better data people than the New York Yankees.
But no one in the AL East won a playoff game this year.
They
won the same
the
amount.
Orioles
So how much
is not going to stay this bad forever.
So maybe analytics
they have flaws in their own right. All of those teams have flaws in their own right. The Jays are arrogant. The Rays pitching development develops their pitchers so they can throw hard and then have their elbows fall off. And the Orioles literally have no pitching to speak of. So those are all flaws. They all have flaws in their own right, but although two of those teams have problems because of their pitching. But the Rays just...
Oh, so they lost the Rays lost their star player to an investigation.
Yeah. The Rays, they have their own issues.
They have their own issues,
but data analytics and player acquisition, not one of them. I guarantee they are going to find a Wander Franco replacement.
Oh, yeah.
Grow him in a lab. They're going to grow him. They got cryopods in there that they thaw out star shortstops. They've got them for every single position. And that's what it looks like. They grow these guys.
In an actual lab.
They grow them in an actual lab. That's what the Yankees should be doing. And all they're saying is like, man, we need to start bunting more. If that is the conclusion.
Wait, what was that comment? What was that comment about the bunting?
It was a way. She's like, oh, we really got to get back to the basics. We got to get back to old school baseball. I'm like, dude.
I mean,
why are you, of all the fans you should be taking serious criticism from, you should not be taking criticism from Mike in Freehold.
I mean, when back in the day they won, they were winning World
Series. Back in the day.
So maybe
the league wasn't even integrated by the time they won 13 World Series championships.
I mean, they still had to win those games. They still had to win, and they did for many years.
Yeah, I know they won past tense. You know how you hate Yankee fans talking about 27 rings? Why are you bringing that up now? Why are you bringing up the 27 rings now? Now all of a sudden they matter. They don't matter to me. They don't matter to any Yankee fan my age because we've never seen success. All we have seen is failure. Don't give me the regular season results. Do not give me that because you're a Met fan and you have significantly lower standards.
I mean, you
see a team win 85 games and you're jumping up and down and your heart's throbbing for them, which I get. You
wouldn't last a single day being a Mets fan.
Well, it's all relative. I was raised as a Yankee fan. I was promised by my parents that I would see parades, multiple parades. I was promised that when Judge came up and he was hitting all those home runs and coming up to be the next captain, that he would win multiple World Series titles. It was propped up as a kid. The Mets aren't propped up as a world champion organization.
They're as an underdog.
They're propped up as the scrappy underdog, which is that, and it's astounding whenever they do anything good. So that's why everyone loses it whenever the Mets are good. Whenever the Yankees are good, everyone's like, man, it's the Yankees. And then they lose in the playoffs, and everyone goes, like Nelson from The Simpsons. That's what happens with the Yankees and the Mets. That's the difference. There's a difference in standards. It's like Alabama in football. Sure, any team would be fine with sure,
a bowl appearance.
Rutgers would be fine with a 9-win season and a bowl game appearance.
But
Alabama does that. They're the joke of the country. Or more Georgia now. But like if Georgia won 9 games of the season and won a mid-tier bowl game that didn't really matter, they'd be tarred and feathered. That is the difference between the Yankees and the Mets. You say you'd love being a Yankee fan, and you say I wouldn't last a second as a Met fan. Sure, if I was a Met fan, I'd be miserable. But if you were a Yankee, if you were in my shoes, you'd be miserable too.
I mean, in a lot of different. I probably would be, yeah.
And you know,
in different ways.
Don't act like you haven't chuckled when the Yankees lost in the playoffs. Don't act like that isn't one of your favorite times of the year. Don't act like that isn't one of your favorite hobbies, dude. Come on. Whenever you watch the Yankees lose in the playoffs, your first thought isn't, wow, man, I'm really jealous of their fans. Your first thought is, ha, ha. That's your first thought.
I mean, it's just not totally inaccurate, but also...
Dude, come on, dude. You enjoy it. You like the Schadenfreude. Come on, you can admit it. You can admit it, dude. Come on.
I mean, I'm just more stunned than anything a lot of the time because they get swept by the Astros in their last playoff appearance.
Come on, dude. You watched every single inning of those
I did not.
games.
I did not. I couldn't care less, honestly.
Okay, well, that's good for you. You're irrational. A lot of Mets fans prey on the Yankees' downfall, and that's what they think. But then, whenever Yankee fans complain about rightfully so, they complain about their backwards and broken operation. They're constantly thrown with the 30 straight winning seasons as if that means anything to us. That doesn't mean anything to me.
Let me just put it to you this way.
Nothing. I'd rather the Yankees bottom out so they're actually forced to make a change. Them being mid is worse than them being bad.
The thing about being a Mets fan, you know how many times the Mets have made it into playoffs in back-to-back seasons? How many times it's happened?
What, once or
twice?
Yeah, it's happened twice, but that's the standard that was set.
One of my favorite sets, though,
there are different standards. I just explained this to you. There's different standards. You're not getting me to feel grateful for being a Yankee fan right now. I know you're going for the spoiled angle. I'm not buying it, dude.
I mean, the A's also might lose their team, Oakland.
Okay,
the Yankees never have to worry about
Oakland A's fans are. Although honestly, if I was a fan of a team that bad, I'd want them to leave.
I mean, that's the strategy they're going with right now.
Please, if there is a team if I was a fan of a team that bad for that long, I'd be like, okay, fine, awesome, I'm free. I'd love to be free from my horrible sports team to be forced to actually choose a team that's good. I would love it if the Devils relocated to Houston and I had to be a Ranger fan. I would love that.
Yeah. I guess, well, not
up until like a couple of years ago, there was nothing more that I wanted the Devils to do than to go bankrupt, sell to someone who wants to relocate, and then they'd move. So I'd be forced to root for someone else.
That's kind of what happened to the Brooklyn Dodgers and Giants fans, New York Giants fans when they left.
They
didn't go to the Yankees though. Some might probably did.
My grandmother on my mom's side did that. She grew up kind of a Brooklyn Dodger fan, and then after they left, she became a Yankee fan. I assume like maybe out of sheer resentment for the Dodgers. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna be a Yankee fan. I'm gonna be a fan of your arch rival.
Spite is a great motivator. But let's go to the other borough, Queens. A lot of stuff happened in the process of a 48-hour period between Sunday and Monday. Some of the craziest. Who would have guessed that managerial free agency could be this entertaining? Who would have guessed? Because under the assumption that thought we were going to get Craig Counsell,
Good manager.
a good manager,
Very good manager.
very good manager.
David Stearns was hired.
David Stearns was hired.
Gonna bring in his guy.
Probably he didn't have to hire. He hasn't had to hire a manager. David Stearns. This was the first managerial hire he would have to make. But then there was a report, I think, a week ago that said he would take money the Brewers offered to stay there if they matched anything the Mets gave. The moment I saw that, I started to get some doubt because if he seems like he does not want to be with the Mets, I got the feeling he did not want to be here.
Dude, literally,
and then all
can get a human being to change their mind.
But then, but if he wanted to stay, he was going. The only reason he would only consider the Mets is to drive up prices from other teams. That is the only reason why he would consider the Mets, or lack thereof, disingenuously. And that was proven true when he decided, nope, I'm not going to the Mets, not even the Brewers, but I'm staying in the Midwest. I'm going to Chicago, which even caught David Stearns off guard. He had no idea that was even in the plan. That was even the cards for him. And then Darren Ross had the Jamal Adams moment of like getting locked out of the facilities.
They cut me.
They cut. I guess they did.
Yes, they cut me. They must have cut me.
Don't unless he didn't pick up the phone. They can't fire you if you don't pick up the phone when they're calling. But that was a weird case of events because he just took a job from someone, and which is a big no-no in the managerial fraternity. So that would be interesting. But also, he got the richest contract for a manager. He's going to be making more money than Ozzy Albies per year. And the thing that astounds me is that now, and he also, there was a report saying that he didn't even give the Mets a chance to match the Cubs offer. So that tells me, again, all I need to know. He never wanted to be with the Mets. No matter what. He wanted to stay Midwest, which is where his family is. So I understand that. But then the Mets did the right thing and pivoted to a guy who was uncommitted, not really going to be committed to them. And they signed and hired Carlos Mendoza to be their next manager. And now,
from the gold standard organization,
which is
a full disclosure, I don't like the hire. Like anybody from the Yankees, like the Yankees are one of the last organizations that teams should be poaching from.
I mean,
like they're I told you how backwards their operation is.
Yeah, it's just the thing that gets me upset is that people want Craig Counsell, and yes, I did too. But also, they're bashing the hire when he didn't even manage a single game yet for the franchise. And they're already deeming it as this terrible hire. And there's the same people that wanted, wait for it, Carlos Beltran to be the new manager. And they're upset with lack of experience? Carlos Beltran has not managed a single level of baseball at all, and they want him to be the new manager. What are you doing? What is the thought process here? This is why Mets fans are the dumbest people in the Northeast. They're the sorriest and choose to be miserable no matter what happens. It is so sickening. They will choose they want to feel bad. Oh, I'm a Mets fan. Feel bad for me. This is why people love calling on the Mets because failure gets to them. It gets to them. And it's frustrating to me, who loves rooting for the team.
I'd be fine with Met fans if they played the misery angle year round. Like if they committed to the misery bit year round instead of like in the first half of the season where they run their mouths and then after it inevitably doesn't work out for them, they play victim. That's why I can't stand about Met fans. They get arrogant, they get cocky, they run their mouth. Which, to your credit, you don't do that.
Yeah, because I'm a realist. And I hope for the best a lot because I'm not going to say Carlos Mendoza is going to be good. I'm not going to say he's be bad, but give him a chance. He's grinded his way up to this position. He's been interviewing for jobs for many years apparently. And and it seems like everyone still likes to hire for the Mets, no matter what, on all sides. I think he's going to be good. Okay, I don't know how good he's going to be, but I'm hoping for the best because I want him to succeed. Most because he's the Mets manager now.
Although I think and like we texted about this before when we were initially talking about it, the Mets, when Steve Cohen became the owner, it became the expectation that the Mets would never get anything less than the best guy available. That's been the case, like in free agency.
Well,
in free agency, they were promised they would get every single one of the top guys.
Well, you know, and
every single position of need.
My rebuttal: the other guys you gotta take two. It takes two to tango. It takes two. Craig Counsell didn't want to be here.
I feel again, dude. If they offered him enough money
for a guy who has won a grand total of, one. That's it. One playoff series as a manager. One.
It's more playoff series than the Mets have won since he started managing.
When did he start managing? I think again. Hold on, Craig Count. Because because I mean, I probably would expect him to have won.
Well, he won the 2018 NLDS.
Yeah,
that's the one playoff series that you're talking about.
Let's see. How long has he been the Brewers man? Oh, you know when his first season was?
When?
2015. So no, he has not won more.
Oh my god, dude! Obama was president.
Yeah, and now he wants to be paid like Joe Torre. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, where is he? And he's gonna stab Derek Ross he's gonna like step on Derek Ross for that money for that too. As just he has all the bad karma written all over it.
You're acting like you didn't want the
guy. I know. I wanted Craig Counsell.
You wanted Craig Counsell,
but he didn't want to be with the Mets. But he didn't want to be with the Mets, and that's the bottom line.
And I understand that because in New York, if you don't make a good first impression,
yeah,
you're gonna get cooked.
They'll
kill you around here.
Plus, he gets to stay locally in the Midwest, where his family is. Less taxes. It's just a good move for him, and that's something people need to just accept. And Carlos Mendoza, you don't know what are you gonna get out of him. Just give him a chance, because you know
how many guys have Mets fans given chances to?
Well, they were gonna give Carlos Beltran a chance apparently, but then he decided to be a part of a cheating scandal.
And they gave Luis Rojas a chance
because they had no backup plan. They were basically had to hire him haphazardly.
Buck a chance.
I mean, he won them 101 games.
And then what?
I don't know. Less said better, honestly. But I don't. The Mets were never going. I don't. What were the other options available then? If not Carlos Mendoza, Gabe Kapler. Oh no. Joe Madden. Please no. Phil Nevin. No.
It's another Yankee protege.
It's uninspired. And also, everyone's a first-time manager at least once. You got to give people some chances to succeed or not. You got to. But also, what does the manager even do a lot of the times? Besides handing the lineup card. And bullpen.
That's a big, and like substitutions too, giving guys the manager does a lot.
Yeah. The Mets are still gonna have to feel the shocker. They still gotta feel the team out there. The manager is not a be all or end all. Believe it or not. And plus, we wanted David Stearns. We trust David Stearns. You have to trust him now that he's making the right decisions. You have to trust David Stearns. And I think there's no reason why you shouldn't. And I think he's going to be David Stearns knows what he's doing, and he's going to put out the best team out there possible. And I am thankful that no other Mets fans run the team besides him. the people who want Carlos Beltran to be manager, I'm glad they don't run the team. They're a bunch of sickos and psychos who think it's a good idea. Genuinely.
By the way, you're telling Mets fans to relax and have
Yes,
that thing
I
work
am.
out. I'm just trying to get back like what you're asking a perpetually tortured fan base to do.
We're not owned by the Wilpons anymore. We are not owned by Fred Wilpon and Jeff Wilpon. That is gone. That era is dead and gone.
The uniform, the Mets. Again, not everything has been all sunshine and rainbows with Uncle Steve either. I'm just saying.
I much rather this than what we had last time. I much rather this.
To be fair, that bar is underground, so
there is no other place than up. Exactly. We are above.
Yeah, obviously, this is better than the Wilpons, but when Steve Cohen bought the team, it was the expectation that you'd be the platinum standard of baseball.
It takes time, okay? And now the Mets have a good farm system that they could maybe weaponize in a trade for a Juan Soto. We'll see. But also, if David Stearns' bread and butter in Milwaukee was player development. If you can get that going here, I'm all good.
You're going to develop pitchers, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. We'll have our own pitching lab. The Mets will get back to pitching lab development. Where they had, when they hit with that 2015 rotation was like basically all homegrown, basically. And then they can get back to that. I'm all good. That's all I need. We don't need to spend $40 million on 40-year-old pitchers. Here's 10-year, a dollar for every year. $10 million for every 10 years. We don't need we don't need bum. I was about to say bum Max Scherzer or bum Verlander. Or I hope they sign. You have no Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I think they're gonna try to sign him.
I thought both New York teams are gonna maybe be in on Yamamoto, although I don't trust the Yankees to really make a push for a guy anymore. They haven't done it since Cole.
Who is that?
Because like when the Yankees are in a bidding war with somebody other than Steve Cohen, they're gonna win. Like if they're gonna stop at nothing to sign someone, they will stop at nothing.
What about Shohei Ohtani? I think every team's gonna be in on Shohei Ohtani.
The Yankees aren't gonna be on Shohei Ohtani.
Oh wait, they are not.
They aren't. The Yankees now aren't in on the best guys. They're in on fringe guys, bargain bin guys. So Brian Cashman can say, hey, look, I picked this guy out. I signed him for cheap. That's what Brian Cashman wants to do now. He doesn't want to sign the no-brainer players. He's ego.
Yeah,
he wants to get guys that make him look smart. He's trying to be a small market GM and make small market moves without the data and analytics of a small market team that make him.
He admitted as much. He admitted as much as you said.
Yeah, he admitted. He admitted the Yankees are they're dinosaurs in that department.
But they still won more games than the Mets.
Well, that's what happens when you have Aaron Judge for a decent chunk of the season.
I will say.
And also, you have Garrett Cole pitching every fifth day.
What if?
And an elite bullpen. The Yankees still have good parts of their team. There's something there. There's something that a good GM could build into a World Series team.
Now,
but Brian Cashman is one of the worst GMs in all of sports. So,
well, I have a question for you. Maybe before we end the show soon. If the Mets have more success this season than the Yankees, just say, I don't know for sure, with Carlos Mendoza as the manager, does that do it for either one of Cashman or Boone?
Nothing is gonna put Cashman out of a job. Boone, maybe.
If Mendoza objectively has more success the upcoming season.
Well, Boone, I think goes.
His contract's up after this season.
Yeah, Boone goes after this year when the Yankees inevitably fall apart again, and Cashman is going to stay here for the rest of his life. Like until he either retires or croaks, he's going to be the Yankee GM, and then they're going to hire his replacement to be handpicked.
Billy
Like,
Epler.
No, Brian Cashman is going to handpick his successor. And if it is Billy Epler, I will no longer enjoy baseball.
Until they win the World Series again.
They're not. They're just not. It's not happening. As long as Hal Steinbrenner and that group of guys is running the team.
Leader of men.
As long as those leaders of men are leading the team, they are never going to win another World Series. It's not happening. Barring them completely lucking out one year, it's not happening. And they don't have guys who can hit in the playoffs. Judge disappears in the playoffs. I mean, they have guys who are okay, like Gleyber Torres, he's okay in the playoffs. They have Anthony Rizzo, who's okay in the playoffs. Giancarlo Stanton used to be really good until he forgot how to hit a baseball. By the way, he's on the hook for a few more years. We're going to get like 130 games out of him before, like with a 75 WRC plus, like a 180 batting average. Sure, he'll hit upwards of like 20 home runs, but
they'll get back to basics, the Yankees.
They'll get back to basics. They'll start bunting. I swear, if I see like on opening day, I'm going to see Aaron Judge bunt, and I'm going to destroy my TV. I'm going to see Aaron Judge bunt. I'm going to burn every single Yankee jersey I have. I will renounce my fandom if I
at any point or the opening day.
If I see Aaron Judge bunt at any point this season, I will question. I will question how much I'm dedicated to that. I'm going to question how much I love baseball.
But what if it works?
I don't care. It's a horrible concept. That's how I know the Yankees are unsalvageable. If Aaron Judge bunts.
But getting back to basics leads them to winning. Back in the old days, that leads them to winning. Maybe they just need to start doing that so they win again. Win more, I should say, because they already do enough winning.
If what they do ends up winning them a World Series, I don't care. But I hate the direction they are going in, and I have hated it for the last few years.
Of being average, just average.
No, not having this attitude that like all we need to do is be good enough to make the playoffs, and then it's a crapshoot. It's like,
I mean, that's not entirely wrong.
It's not entirely right either. The Houston Astros and LA Dodgers had sustained success in the playoffs.
Yeah. Also,
the Dodgers before they played any team from the American League, that is.
How much more time we got? I know we know we're getting close.
Yeah. I don't really have anything. I'm tapped.
Oh, well, one other thing. Are you gonna watch any of the hockey game on Thursday night?
I have a Mario Kart game on.
Oh, okay. Because there is a special game on tomorrow night between the Sharks and the Oilers. Two of the most just grandest dumpster fires you'll see.
Thursday Night Football, it's Bears Panthers.
If you want a bad sports night, tomorrow night's it.
No, all I can think of is that one WrestleMania promo
Of
once in a lifetime.
John
Cena.
Yeah, that's getting overplayed. That's getting played all over the place. The San Jose Sharks won their first game last night against the Flyers. It took them 12 games to do that. 12.
They're going back to the California Golden Seals days.
Yep. And they've in three of their most recent games, or the last two games before their last win, and they gave up 2 games, 10 goals in both games in 2 straight games. Not good goaltending. But they don't have the worst save percentage in the league right now. A team's save percentage. That belongs to the Edmonton Oilers. And they have not given up 10 goals in a game yet. And they have a worse goaltending. That's what you're in for on Thursday night. And if it's the Sharks, they just do it for McDavid. That would be hilarious. In my mind. If the San Jose Sharks are what it takes to get McDavid off the Oilers, that was the magma opus of Ken Holland.
McDavid's going to be a Ranger at some point in his career.
We'll see. I think he might go to Toronto.
The Leafs aren't going to have any cap space.
Well, Tavares and Marner will be up the year before.
Oh yeah, cut all of their depth to sign McDavid. And yeah, that's worked great for the Oilers.
Yeah, the cap's gonna go up, but yeah, that hasn't really worked out for the Oilers. Basically, not being able. I think it's more so just incompetence. They just can't find the right places. But that's a whole other topic for another day. It's just gonna be a legendarily bad night tomorrow night for sports. You got the Bears and Panthers. That's gonna be a terrible game, and then you got Sharks and Oilers. Very bad. Very two very bad teams. And I just wanted to preview that because it's just amazing how terrible both of them are. And also, the Giants have steady competition, to say the least, if they want to get the first overall pick.
That's big for us. I still don't know who we want to win yet.
The thing about it is I feel good about the Bears winning another game this year.
None of them play us.
No.
Also, dude, that win against Arizona.
That might cost us.
That win against Arizona.
Well, they're getting Kyler Murray, and they might be getting James Conner back.
Dude, Kyler Murray coming back might be enough to take him out of the race.
I sure hope so. But yeah, I just think baseball season, the off season is going to be interesting for baseball. Where will Shohei Ohtani go? Well, I hope it's the Mets. But he might not want to come here either.
The Yankees are going to get they're going to get Cody Bellinger and Kevin Kiermaier. Cody Bellinger is going to regress because his batted ball metrics and literally every single advanced metric said that his season was a fluke.
But he will get to play at Yankee Stadium a lot. And he's a lefty.
I know that. A lot of the morons who root for this team think that makes him a slam dunk because he hits for average and he's a lefty.
I'll just say, Carlos Schwarber would have been the perfect guy for the Yankees to sign. I will die on that hill.
And they didn't because they're idiots.
Yeah. Anyways, I think I'll be all right. That'll be where we wrap up today.
Don't really know what we're gonna talk about next week.
We'll find something.
Yeah. All right.
Gary Bettman will do something stupid. We know Gary Bettman will do something stupid.
Yeah. Somebody will do something stupid, and we'll talk about it. All right. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. Once again, this has been Ball Knowers from Luke Dolan. I am Cameron Woolley, signing off.
Have a great day, everyone.